So, as I stand before you tonight, I have kind of mixed feelings about where we are on this because, I know that finally we're starting to take some action, but at the same time, I know that this action leaves behind so much of what we've learned in this implementation and so much of what we've learned from various stakeholders, be they parents, teachers, people that are experts in psychology and child psychology and early childhood education and just a variety of things. And it's unfortunate that we're moving forward without really being more comprehensive. But I've heard a number of times today words like, this bill isn't perfect, or this isn't a Republican or a Democratic issue. And certainly I agree with both of those things. But if there was ever a time that we should aim to make a bill as close as perfect as possible, it's when we're dealing with an issue like this. We're dealing with our children. We spent several hours earlier talking about all these child care issues and all that other stuff. Well, this is about our children too. And I would submit to everyone in this House that you will never get anywhere close to a perfect bill, which again should be our goal, by just taking the input of one side of the aisle. We did a ton of work on the amendment we proposed earlier. We did a ton of work going around the state, and yet we're here, debating a bill that's been put up by one side, really without any input for the other side. I guess ignoring the input of people on our side of the aisle who represent over 5 million New Yorkers. And I want to tell you, when we went around and did our hearings, we heard from your constituents too. We heard from many constituents who were being represented by majority members. And I know they had conversations with many of you and all of that. But I think that going forward, and I hope this isn't our last action on this issue. I hope and pray it's not our last action on this issue because so much more needs to be done. But I hope that going forward, we can really put our heads together collectively. There are so many bright people in this room with so many different experiences on both sides of the aisle. And I think if no other issue that we work together in a bipartisan fashion, putting politics aside and putting the interests of our children first, this is the issue to do that on. So I thank my colleagues for a really robust debate tonight. But my concerns with this bill will continue on because my fear is that we are taking action here and then it's going to be, okay, we did what we had to do. Let's see what everybody else has to do. Rather than, like I said earlier, this House leading the way as we talk about all the time on so many issues. So again, I'm going to ask my colleagues to put our heads together and truly come up with real, comprehensive, bipartisan solutions that will benefit our children on these day-to-day issues that they're dealing with right now. It's great to have commercials airing and everything else. Good. When the kid's frustrated with his homework, maybe we'll show him a commercial. That'll make him feel better. No, it won't. So let's get it together, lead with the intelligent people in this room on this issue, and adopt solutions that will benefit our children. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to be voting in the negative on this bill, and I urge my colleagues to do the same because we can do better for our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ra.